Thank you, Brittany. Next, we have Albert Kisangi, Science Specialist with Convergence of Instructional Philosophy with Personalized Learning.
Ten years ago, I accepted a science teaching position at Klein High School. What most people did not realize at that time was that I had been in the country for barely 4 months. My initial days were very tough. They were very challenging. To put it gently, I struggled every single day. Besides, I was employed in the middle of the school year, in February, to be more precise. But before coming to the US, I was a teacher trainer in Nairobi, training science teachers from Kenya and other African countries. So clearly, my struggle in the classroom was not for lack of pedagogical knowledge. But as I struggled, some friends actually told me, in order for you to survive, you need to lower your expectations. But I also had another voice that told me, in order for you to survive, you need a cultural recalibration. I guess those of you or amongst us who had a chance to work in a different cultural setting may attest to the same. But in 3 years, that's how long it took. But in 3 years, I discovered that a cultural recalibration wasn't enough. But as I continued to struggle, at some point, I had a voice that told me, maybe you just need a new teaching script. You need to throw away your old teaching script. But again, there was a problem. What I thought was a new teaching script was constantly being redefined by the next professional development workshop that I attended. So to me, it felt like the ground was constantly shifting beneath my feet. So what is it that I needed? What I needed was an instructional philosophy. I needed an instructional philosophy that could immunize me against a constant wave of changes that was always happening around me. What is an instructional philosophy? An instructional philosophy is a synopsis of your beliefs and your practices about learning. It's actually a justification of why you teach the way you teach. You know, I've come to understand one thing. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. All kids are looking for a teacher who will spark their passion. They're looking for a teacher who will be able to ignite and reignite their dreams. So it doesn't matter whether you are in Nairobi, Kenya, or you are in Houston, Texas. All kids are looking for a teacher who will be able to rekindle their hope and dreams. I wanted to be that kind of a teacher. So then, why a convergence of instructional philosophy with personalized learning? You know, the promise of personalized learning is to optimize student learning. We are constantly asking teachers to design learner profiles in order for them to personalize learning. But as educators, we also need to design our own learning profile. Learning profile for educators that are informed by our needs, our strengths, but more importantly, our motivation and our goals. An instructional philosophy, when you create one, it will accelerate your own learning. It has done it for me. And today I want to challenge you to create one. And when you do, find a creative way of sharing it with your students and with the parents. Some years back, I decided I want to share my instructional philosophy with my parents. And I remember that late evening, before I could leave my desk, within 10 minutes of sending that instructional philosophy to the parents, I had received 3 emails from parents who could not be able to wait to send their kid to me. So what is my instructional philosophy? Here's the synopsis. My instructional philosophy is to design a learning environment that is rich, rigorous, and relevant in an environment that is informed by growth mindset and grit. I have come to recognize that it doesn't matter your pedagogical knowledge, it doesn't matter how good your instructional tools are, if the mindset of the learners is not taken care of, the effect on learning is likely to be marginal. So we should encourage students to embrace challenges. We should design learning environments that are challenging. We should train our kids to exert effort. And we should remind them that they'll make mistakes, because we all do. And when they do, they should embrace feedback. In personalized learning, we are working towards competencies. This idea is consistent with the growth mindset, the belief that our basic abilities are improvable. We can work towards mastery through deliberate effort. And when we make mistakes, we should be able to embrace feedback. This is the world that I operate in. The world of growth mindset. The world that recognizes instructionally that a personalized learning environment is a growth mindset environment. So as I conclude, I want to say that what an instructional philosophy has done to me, it reminds me to be reflective, purposeful, and even audacious in my teaching. It reminds me that when I open that door of my classroom every morning, this is not going to be an ordinary day, because there are no ordinary days in the life of a teacher. When I drive to school in the morning, I always ask myself the question, is the way I'm going to facilitate learning today ignite curiosity in my students? As I sit behind my computer preparing that lesson, I always ask myself, is this lesson I am preparing going to spark that passion? Because there are no ordinary days in the life of a teacher. So prepare for every day, every lesson, because it counts. You just never know. That lesson for that day could be the one that will be able to spark interest, that passion in the child. You just never know. That lesson, that conference with that child could be what you need to just reignite his dreams. That lesson could be the one that you need to rekindle hope, curiosity, and creativity in that particular child. Because there are no ordinary days in the life of a teacher. Thank you.